I was lip singing to the birthday song on Molly. A terrorist group was planning to hit one of our shows. They wanted me to go get watermelons, cantaloupes, and a machete.
Brandon Urie, who sells fentanyl under the Venice Beach Pier.
The message was that she's going to marry my brother. I am going to be the best man. There's nothing I can do about it. Record labels will buy streams so that their artist looks like they're incredibly popular. It's a real thing. I was sitting with Kevin from A Day to Remember, and we were on the couch and I was filming and I was laughing so hysterically, like a little out of fear.
Legalization and not wanting to fund like organized crime. I wonder if at any point local government will allow dispensaries to sell just like cocaine. God. Okay, yeah, he went to jail, I guess, but like y'all haven't been to jail.
Dude,
y'all haven't been once.
all the things
y'all's
you
baby
get
daddies
mad.
haven't been to jail.
Find out she used to date one of the members of Escape the Fate, like all those guys. She's like, oh, you're in Papa Roach. I used to date blah, blah, blah in Escape the Fate. And she started talking shit about him.
You think a reason you finally decided to release your music now that you've been holding on to for all that time is because you have more mental clarity from being sober? That's kind of crazy that everyone's just becoming like country emo now.
Country is ruling everything.
Do you like country music or no?
Well, I didn't listen to it.
Oh, the Howdy shirt. Wait, that's sick. I just
Yeah,
noticed.
yeah.
Oh, you're on
Pretty
theme.
alternative.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it until like, okay, remember Rascal Flatts?
Yeah. What hurts the most? I'm like, got me through my darkest days.
It's because that shit's like pop.
Kind of sad. I'm like, the rain on the roof of this empty house. I'm like,
Yeah, it's a emo shit.
Yeah. Damn.
The ties.
I guess country kind of is emo if you really think about it.
It's super emo. Emo is intertwined. Emo is intertwined in everything, I guess. Every song.
Damn right. I'm like, hell yeah. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Last time you were here, it was a different name.
Yeah, we're
Same
the alternative
podcast.
now, huh?
We're the alternative, yeah, with the Blackcraft network.
I love it.
It's good to have you back. So a few things about you. Obviously, the last episode, people can hear more about like the backstory, how you got into Papa Roach and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For this episode, I kind of want to focus on present day a little bit instead of just like the beginning so they can watch that. Right now, you're still touring with them, right?
Yeah.
So what was the last tour that you went on with Papa Roach? Who was that with?
So the last one we did was in October of last year, and that was with Shinedown.
Oh.
It was a great way to end the touring cycle because like they put on a massive show,
Yeah.
right? Production wise. So we had to meet them at their level of production. So we upped our production.
Oh, dang.
And it just, when you have a show that big with, you know, the lights and I mean, it was just, we had great ticket sales.
Yeah. Nice.
We hit it hard last year. So we ended with Shinedown and Spirit Box.
Oh my God, I love
Which I geeked out over that when I heard we were going out with Spirit Box. I have been watching them on YouTube for like the last 2 years. And so I was pretty stoked to be able to meet them.
I used to listen to her when she was in I Wrestled a Bear once. Like,
you go that far back?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm like obsessed. Like back then, I didn't know of any other like female screamers in bands at all. At least to my knowledge. I'm sure they existed, but like she's the one that really stood out because I thought it was a dude. When I
Her
first
scream is insane.
Insane. And the fact that she can go from singing to screaming just so clean is crazy. And she's probably just as good live, right? I imagine.
She's amazing. All of them are great players, really, really good players. And she's funny too, because like she protects her voice as she should as a vocalist.
Yeah.
We would go up to her, like our content guy he'd try to do these videos like, hey, why don't you try and teach Jacoby how to do a death scream?
Yeah.
Like we can make it a content piece. And she's like, no.
Damn.
And you like shut him, like respectfully, she's like, I need to preserve my voice for the show tonight. I was like,
I mean, actually should.
That's pro, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm not even mad at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that she's still going, when did Spirit Box start? And like,
okay, so they were a band when they blew up was the pandemic.
Was it the Circle With Me video that she did? I don't know.
I think it was the one where she's in studio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was that video blew. And Mike, the guitar player, was telling me that, you know, they almost weren't going to keep doing Spirit Box. They were kind of like not getting as much recognition as they thought. And in the pandemic, he's like, let's just release an album and like make content, see what happens. And they popped off.
Yeah, perfect time to do it too. So you guys toured with them. Do you have another tour plan coming up?
We're in talks of doing touring in early 2025. So 2024 is completely off. No touring. It's just a year to like seriously go home, spend time with family, reflect, do other creative outlets. 2025, I think we're looking at a February tour.
Okay.
Don't know with who. I don't know where. It's just
Yeah.
It's in talks.
I just feel like there's so many festivals too that I can see you guys on that you've probably already done. Like, what was the one that just happened? Was it Sonic Temple or something?
Sonic Temple, we've done a couple times.
Yeah.
That one's an incredible festival.
So prior to that, right now, you have a project that you're working on. It's Future Hands, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get started with that? And I know sometimes people get a lot of backlash for like genre switching a little bit. I know it's not exactly the same as Papa Roach, some might say.
Not at all.
So what inspired the change in genre and just to branch out like that?
So it's funny because like, I wouldn't say it's a change in genre for my personal, like what I like. I've always been into EDM.
Yeah.
And like Skrillex is one of my biggest musical inspirations because he's a DJ that can do high energy, like up tempo music. And then he'll drop something like Cinema, right? If you remember that song, it's like one of the most beautiful pieces of music ever. So he can do this dance of doing pop intertwined with EDM. Like I want to be that type of a producer. And so I just honestly, I've had these demos in my laptop for years, like 10 years I've had demos and I never had like the balls to like release it. Cause as a creator, you're like, oh, it's not ready yet.
Dude, every time I even put out a podcast, I'm like, what if it just sucks? What if this is like the worst content to ever hit the internet?
But
so
you always put out consistent work.
Yeah.
So that's like what I'm getting at. Future Hands literally is an embodiment of me being like, all right, I'm sick of hiding all this music because it's not ready yet.
Yeah.
It's never going to be ready. And when I released the first track, it got such a good response. It's called Throw It Back. I released it like 3 months ago. And I was getting texts from people I look up to in the industry were like, hey, this isn't rock, but like, I really like what you're doing.
Oh.
So it gave me some confidence. And then I released the next two. I've done one a month so far. And it's my outlet of showing what I can do as a producer.
For sure. Like A Day to Remember and Asking Alexandria, they have had a little bit of backlash, I guess, because they went a little more like electronic, like upbeat, and they used to be more kind of like, I don't want to say like death metal, but what's your opinion on that? Do you think it's just because people are so used to one type of thing and they don't want to give it a chance? Or
most people, when they fall in love with their favorite band, they want that band to stay the same.
Yeah.
And like, I get that feeling, but as a creative, that's boring.
Yeah.
You're constantly, you have an influx of new music every day. So you're going to get, pulled to a different genre at some point, and then you want to explore that with your band. So we have to have some fun with the writing process too. We have to like our own music too.
Yeah, which is valid. I've caught myself doing that a little bit. I'm like, I just like stand up and scream and no other albums by them, but I'm like, okay, I need to like give it a chance at least. Talking about Papa Roach on tour, I know you had mentioned when we were texting some stories that you had a crazy story or two. I don't feel like we really talked about that last time, so I think that'll be interesting to get into.
We did either. The craziest thing probably ever on tour, like where I just went completely off the rails, was Shiprocked. Have you heard of Shiprocked?
Why does that sounds really familiar.
Shiprocked it's literally a Carnival cruise ship that sails from I think we went from Galveston, Texas to Turks and Caicos Islands.
Oh.
So you literally dock at an island.
Yeah.
You get to get off, but the whole time you're on this boat, different bands are playing, right? And so we did Shiprocked one year, like probably 2015. And the cool thing is it's a 5-day, you're at sea for 5 days, but we only had to work 2.
Oh.
So I was playing the other 3 days, if
Yeah.
you will. I mean, massive ship.
Yeah.
But I mean, I took it too far on this cruise. Like,
Oh, no.
not only was I day drinking and having fun, but there was these comedians on the ship. And one is popping off right now. Her name's Annie Letterman.
That sounds, I don't know why that sounds familiar too.
She has a podcast with Bobby Lee's ex, Kalila.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Annie was one of the comedians and she had like a crew with her and they had Molly.
Of course, because why would you not on a cruise?
And I didn't do it that often back then, but I was like, well, I'm going to partake, right? So I was like enjoying myself. Yeah. It's a cruise, yeah, but I didn't realize how much I was taking.
Oh, no.
I didn't know the amount. And basically when we docked, I was just running rampant. Like our videographer, Bryson, he's like, let's do a music video. So we put on, Beartooth had a new single out at the time.
Yeah.
So he ran the Beartooth song and I was lip singing to the Beartooth song on Molly.
Oh no.
And I jump headfirst into this fountain. It's one of those fountains that you throw like pennies in.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like 2 feet deep. So I
probably not the best. Yeah.
Hit my head on the way to this fountain. Like security comes over and has to escort me out of this area back to the ship. Like I was just completely out of my mind, like having fun until it all hit me. The booze and the drugs hit me.
Yeah, it'll get you.
And I went into the spins and I ended up in the hospital of the ship.
Is anyone else in there or just you?
No.
Oh, like did anyone else at least get hurt? So you're not just like the only one in there with like an injury.
I was like, okay, there's got to be rooms of people in here drunk, hungover,
something, dehydrated even.
It was just me.
Oh, no.
They had to wake up the ship's nurse who was sleeping at the time.
Oh.
So she had to come out of her like room and assess me, and I just told her what I did, and she had to give me all these fluids. And
oh man,
that was just the craziest, dumbest experience on a tour that I'd ever done. But it's because we were on the boat.
It's international waters, bro. I feel like it doesn't count. You know what I mean? It's like it didn't even happen. Except now everyone knows. But
that actually bit me in the ass because we were on international waters. My insurance didn't cover any of that.
No, y'all have been around so long. There have to be like, obviously it's great to have them, but like some diehard fans that might go a little too far. Like,
yeah, you know, it's funny. Like the Papa Roach that existed before me was way crazier. I've heard of stories that the band told me from 2002, 2003, right?
Yeah, and
it's way crazier. Like now everyone's a little more tamed.
Because there's cell phone, like social media and stuff, and they don't want to get like exposed.
Exactly. We had a really scary moment in, do you remember in France, there was a shooting at a venue. It was called the Bataclan.
I don't know why this all sounds familiar, but then again, like maybe I did too much Molly. I don't know, but like I can't remember any of these things. But
the band Eagles of Death Metal was playing a show in France.
Okay.
And a terrorist group shot up the venue, right? Yeah. And so we were in Europe at the time touring with Five Finger Death Punch. And so we had to divert our whole tour and kind of lay low because, you know, a terrorist attack is messed up.
Yeah, for sure.
So we lay low for a bit. We continue the tour. And one day we get our tour manager comes in. He goes, guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but you need to sit down. He goes, we just got an email from this hacker group called Anonymous.
Oh my, yeah, I'm familiar somewhat. My brother's like into coding and stuff like that. So that's how.
So Anonymous basically hacked and found out that a terrorist group was planning to hit one of our shows.
No.
And it just like, when you hear that and you're overseas and you're away from your family, it's like, who knows if they were just playing or not, but like we couldn't take the risk. So we literally were like, do we stay out here and like say F you to these people and just call their bluff and play the show? And I was on the team of like, absolutely not, let's go home.
Yeah, no.
Like,
no.
We canceled the show and we like emergency flew home.
As you should. Do you think it was targeted at y'all or at Five Finger Death Punch? We had to guess.
I would say Five Finger. They're like very pro-military and, you know, they probably maybe made a comment about what had happened. I don't know, dude.
Ew.
But that feeling sucked. That was a wild experience to hear that.
Yeah, that's actually terrifying.
It was.
What about back in like the 02, like early 2000 days, like the Rock of Love era, if you will? What happened back then that you can think of that someone's told you that was like just the craziest shit that happened?
On a tour?
Yeah, just like the early Papa Roach days, like early 2000s, like before cell phones and social media and people being able to be exposed and canceled.
Just a lot of like violence. Like Jacoby was into like throwing lamps or breaking glass, or one time, actually when I was on tour with them, he wanted me to go get watermelons, cantaloupes, and a machete so he could do Fruit Ninja. I think he like flipping tables and throwing things and just breaking shit.
Okay, in the scheme of things, not terrible.
Not terrible.
From what I've heard, like about other bands and stuff like that, I feel like that's pretty like tame.
It's dumb. Just when dudes, you know, when you're 25 years old and you're a multimillionaire and your band's popping off and you have a little couple of drinks, you just do stupid guy shit.
I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing.
You might do the same thing
probably
too.
Far worse, to be honest. I would do Molly on several ships. I don't know. With that said, speaking of bands and just debauchery, are you listen to Dance Gavin Dance or no?
I don't listen to them. I know some of those dudes, but I haven't really kept up with the music too much.
I was going to say, what are your thoughts on Tillian leaving? Because that just happened. Or them like amicably splitting. That like
probably
just
for the best.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, to be honest, but do you know like any, not to like expose anything, but any reasoning behind that? Or
yeah, I just heard there were some things that came up about him. And when that's happened to a lot of bands. The bass player of A Day to Remember, I think it happened
Really?
To. Yeah. And again, I don't know what the story is of what the event was.
And we may never like, you know, just publicly.
But that sucks for the other 4 or 5 members because you're like, dude, I'm caught in between a rock and a hard place. Like we want to continue touring, but half of the world hates you for whatever this reason is.
Yeah.
So it's probably for the best. And Tillian's got such a unique voice. He could go do a solo project.
Oh, 100%.
That dude could do a solo project or join another band and he'll have a following.
It's like Craig Owens. Like he can literally, or Ronnie Radke could literally do whatever. If you could replace him with anyone though, like if you had to, who would it be? Because his voice is iconic. It's so different. Yeah. But if you had to pick someone for that sound, like is there anyone you could think of that would be a good fit? Because I feel like it's hard. It's like trying to think of someone to replace Chester in Linkin Park
Yeah,
because
no.
people have talked about that, but like who?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you could.
I'm trying to think of who's similar to Tillian. He's got that little bit of rasp in his voice and he can sing super high. Like, you remember Anthony Green?
Yeah.
Maybe Anthony Green.
Oh.
Because he's got that high register.
Yeah, that could be that's a solid choice, to be honest.
I loved, dude, he was, okay, what was he before Seosin? Was Seosin his first?
No, I think there was something else and I can't think of it.
Dude, he had
it's
some
gonna bug
great
me.
songs.
Yeah, I feel like he's been in several bands.
7 years. What's the song 7 years? Is that Seosin? Taking on 7 years, my Holy Ghost. I love that song.
Wait, they were just at the festival I was at. I was at So What Fest in Dallas.
Oh, nice.
I forgot about that. They were literally there, and I think they sang that.
Anthony Green, dude, join the band.
Yeah, Anthony, if you're listening by any chance. What would you say is your favorite band that you really like that the general public doesn't? For me, it's like a Creed or Nickelback moment, you know? I feel like they get a lot of like hate. Chad Kroeger from Nickelback had to like get off social media altogether.
So where did that come from? Where did the Nickelback hatred come from? Because like if you really look at their songs, they're freaking smash. They're smash songs.
Well, do they have one that isn't good? Dare I say they don't? I don't know when it started. I just know that it got so bad and to such a degree that he literally had to flee the internet and just dip out and then dated Avril Lavigne randomly.
Yeah, I mean, I would do the same. It doesn't do you any good to read those comments of, dude, you're successful already. Like, who cares what these people are saying? But some people go too far in the comments and they say, like, kill yourself. Like, what a sad person, dude. Like, that person's sick.
Well, what's going on with them, you know, to make them even act that way? Do you ever get like crazy DMs or comments, or have you ever gotten a bunch of hate for any reason?
This was in my era of wearing a beanie, like the saggy beanie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And a tank top. And I had like my lip pierced, you know, and this guy just ripped me. He's like, he named all the things I was wearing. He goes, lip ring, beanie, and a tank top, all the makings of a, I don't even want to say the word.
It's giving like Owl City, you know? But
Owl
that's
City.
Okay.
We'll just say that.
Yeah.
He just called me out and called me a really gnarly name. Damn. And I was just like, you can't help but like feel that. You're like, do I look like that?
Well, you're like, not my beanie. Yeah.
Not my beanie, bro. And then there was another one recently. I took a photo with a friend on the Venice Beach Pier. And it obviously was someone that dated her or was her ex.
Yeah.
Because he wrote a paragraph about me. He's never met me, doesn't know me.
No.
He was mad that I was in the photo with her. And he's like, this guy looks like the dude that sells the drugs under Venice Beach Pier. This guy looks like the dude that's supplying fentanyl to the fucking... I'm like, where's all this coming from,
Jesus
dude?
Christ.
He's like, he looks like a wannabe poser. Who's the guy from Panic at the Disco?
Oh, is it Brendan
Urie?
Yeah.
He looks like a Brendan Urie wannabe. And I'm just like, this guy has never met me. He obviously used to date the girl in this photo I was posing with.
That's such a niche, like... Damn.
Like
Brendan Urie who sells fentanyl under the Venice Beach Pier. I mean, that's kind of iconic.
Now it's funny, cool. Right? Like now saying that comment back is really funny, but crazy, this wasn't a DM, but it was a Facebook message. It was from this girl who obviously has issues. And the message was that she's going to marry my brother. I am going to be the best man. There's nothing I can do about it. The wedding is August of blah, 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 blah. If this person went off on how she's going to marry my brother, who's already happily married. And she then somehow got a hold of his address and sent like a letter and something in a shoebox, like to their house, and was saying, hey, our wedding's coming up. Like batshit crazy.
That's insane.
And of course I didn't respond, but like she hit up my whole family.
You're like, so RSVP'd, yes. Like I would be there. I'm like, congrats.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That one was actually kind of scary.
How'd your brother feel about that? Was he like scared or was he just kind of used to it? Or
his wife was more scared than him. He was like, he's like dealt with crazy fans his whole life. So he's probably like, dude, I don't think anything's going to happen. But his wife was like shook.
But it's like the one time that it does, you just never know. So I could see how that would be kind of scary. Do you have any celebrity encounters that have gone sideways or that went wrong or just strange ones in general?
There's two. I was at a bar in Sherman Oaks with the entire band and our producer, and 21 Pilots drummer walked in.
Just at random?
Josh.
Or was he meeting you guys?
No, he was at the same bar, like dive bar, and he was with a friend. And this is when 21 Pilots, like when that song Ride, was it Ride?
I'm trying to think of one of their songs, I'm going to be honest. I'm not like
Ride.
a 21 Pilots girly.
Were they on the tricycles, the music video? They're on these tricycles?
I don't know.
They had just, they were blown up. And I was down here at this table and you go up by the bar, right? And I was like, I'm going to go talk to him. Like, I just want to introduce myself. Like, kind of geeking out.
Sure.
But in this bar, there's this long table in the center of the bar, right? I'm talking like, it's like a 20-foot long table.
Yeah.
And just as I'm going up to say, hey, he grabs his drink from the bar and turns and starts walking around this table.
Oh.
So I'm in this predicament of, do I follow him or do I stay at this one point and just hope he meets me at the end of the table?
Yeah, and just stand there.
And the band's watching me. They're all like watching me, and I'm kind of like, so I just start following Josh from 21 Pilots, like a creep. No. And it's this long walk down and then a corner and then a long walk back. And the band's looking at me like, just abandon the mission, dude. Like, yeah. Because he could feel someone on his back. He could feel this energy because he kind of, he turned. And then I'm like, hey, I'm Anthony, and now I feel like a dork because it's like I just followed you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm here with our band. Like, if you wanted to come say hey, he never came over.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Papa Roach is fucking iconic though, and like respectfully, like you're in 21 Pilots, my guy. Like, come on, like no disrespect to the man or whatever, but it's like if I see like Papa Roach waving over there, that's pretty fucking sick.
That was weird. And then a really funny story was actually with Ronnie Radke. And I don't think he cares that I tell this story because I think he posted about this, but I have a video on my phone of going on his bus and he told everyone on the bus, he goes, if you play the Smurfs theme song, I will snap. And everyone's like, the Smurfs theme song? Like, well, who would ever play that?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, just make sure you guys don't play the Smurfs theme song. And he wanted someone to play the Smurfs theme for some reason.
Yeah.
So I think someone in the band put on the Smurfs theme song.
As they should.
And he trashed the entire bus. I'm talking like 20 G's worth of damage, trashed the bus. And like, he was doing it in a way where like none of us felt like unsafe. Like he wasn't throwing things at us, but he ripped the microwave door off the microwave.
Damn.
Slammed it on the ground, took a Jameson bottle, slammed it.
Not the Jameson.
Not the JMO, dude. That
that
was my favorite drink back then.
Yeah.
He went in the fridge and took all the soda cans out and smashed them, ripped the curtains off of the bunks. He had this full-on meltdown because the Smurfs theme song was playing.
Oh.
And I was sitting with Kevin from A Day to Remember. And we were on the couch and I was filming and I was laughing so hysterically, like a little out of fear and mostly out of like, I can't believe it, I'm watching that. The laugh that came out of me sounded like Elmo.
Oh, please.
And like Ronnie hit me up like a month later. He's like, dude, send me that video. And he posted it on his Instagram and everyone's like, the fuck's up with Elmo? Why is Elmo in the background? And I'm like, I do sound like Elmo.
Wait, do you have it still by chance? Just at least the laugh part. Thank you so much. I was hoping you'd say that.
How do we like play a little bit of this for the people? This is it. Okay.
The freezer, that shit off, dude. The freezer's next. The freezer's next.
I mean, look at this shit.
Wow. An icon, and a legend. I fucking love him, honestly. So like, I know he's controversial, but like,
I love it, dude. Like he's like a true rock star, dude. He's bringing excitement to social media and to music. It's freaking rad, dude. Like who cares? I don't know even why people hate on him, really.
They just want to for no reason. Like, okay, yeah, he went to jail, I guess, but like y'all haven't been to jail.
Dude,
y'all haven't been once.
All the things
y'all's
you
baby
get
daddies haven't been to jail. Stop.
100%. All the things you get mad at celebrities for, you've done a version of it, right? You've lied, you cheated, you've done something you regret, but they're under the microscope. And so I always think about Justin Bieber. Like, remember he wilded out for a couple years. Like, he like peed in a bucket at a restaurant.
I think that was his like Bizzle era.
I'm like, that's it. Like, sure, peeing in a bucket's gross, but I've done stupid stuff like that so many times. Like, why can't JB like be a kid for a second, make a mistake? He didn't hurt anybody. He would like rev his engine in the neighborhood, right? And people would complain to the LA city sheriffs that he's revving. It's like, you rev your engine too.
Yeah.
On Ventura Boulevard every day, you idiot. Like,
either's jealous. Obviously, they want what he has and they want to like diminish him however they can. But I think Ronnie's another one that just gets unnecessary hate, honestly. Like, how many years ago? Yeah, how many years ago did he even go to jail? And like, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck?
But I think he's handling it great, to be honest. Just like the reverse little like roast. Anyone who comments, like, you've seen his TikToks, you said, right?
Yeah, he does the thing where like, who wants to be a millionaire? Like countdown starts.
The intense little music or whatever.
I love those.
No, it's so fucking funny. Is there a conspiracy theory that you believe that's a little out there?
Conspiracy theories like, hey, now we know aliens are real. Like, I feel like we've always kind of thought that.
Wait, do we know?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Hell, am I okay? Well, how do we know this? I'm like, what?
Congress, I can't remember who it was, but Congress had people in that were saying that they've seen and worked with aliens.
Pardon me?
On YouTube. This is what convinced me.
Mhm.
It is he was like ex-CIA or ex-NASA, and he was on his deathbed. He was like 88 years old, this old dude, and he met a documentarian in a hotel room, and he tells the documentary dude everything about how he's worked with aliens. They're here. He's seen a spacecraft. They've known about aliens for like 50 years. And he's like, I'm dying of cancer, so I'm just going to tell this story.
Yeah.
I can tell when someone's lying or has fabricated a video for the internet. This dude is straight up telling the truth.
Holy shit.
He's like, I have nothing to lose, and I've seen aliens.
Did he say what the future holds for us and the aliens in question? Like what's going to happen, or if there's like a plan?
He didn't. He just was saying how Area 51 is real shit and they're hiding stuff.
Well, fuck, I wish he would give him more deets. I'm like, can you at least tell us what's going to happen? Like,
I'll send you the video because it's like, that's what got me going, okay, that's what I needed was a truthful person that used to work in the CIA.
I guess, but also with his last breath, I low-key wish he would have been like, and this is what's going to happen. So we at least kind of know, like, whatever, little cliffhanger, but whatever. Have you ever had a brush with the law? If so, what?
Yeah. Evaded the law and all my friends got in trouble at a house party. Mm-hmm. We were playing beer pong in the basement, as you do in Oregon.
What else is there to do? Yeah.
That's it.
Just be in the woods and play beer pong.
We were, okay, so this was a house party, and next to it was the woods.
Of course. Very Oregon.
This is in Coos Bay, Oregon.
Oregon core. Mm-hmm.
Very redneck, like podunk town. And my friend Nikki was arguing. She's in an argument with her boyfriend at the time. And I saw him slap her face. And that sent me on this mission outside to just tell him off. I wasn't going to throw a punch.
Friend, yeah.
I was like, I saw what you did. I saw you smack her face. Like, you need to go home right now. I was defending my friend.
Yes, you should.
And he actually was cool. He goes, I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
And as I'm turning around, his best friend's fist is flying at my face.
Oh, no.
And when that happened, all my friends jumped on his friends. This brawl erupted in the middle of the street because of me. So everyone blamed me. And every cop in the town got called. The neighbors called.
Well, because what else is really happening probably in
Nothing.
Yeah.
I ran into those woods I was telling you about, and I hid behind this bush and this tree, and I watched the police swarm all my best friends.
Oh, no.
And take them in, and they all got what's called minor in possession. It's a citation.
MIP. I know him well. Got him back in the day. And I forgot I got MIPs back in the day because everything
you got
dropped.
One?
Several. I was a bad little egg, dude. Okay. So I was actually really good in high school up until mid junior year. I was in honors, AP, everything was fine until the fateful moment when I met a little skater man.
Oh, he ruined it.
Of course, Noah Kelly was his name. If you're out there, Noah. Actually, funny enough.
What a skater name.
Noah Kelly. Yeah. My friend saw him I think on the side of the road in my hometown the other day. She's like, this looks just like Noah.
No.
I'm like, it might be him.
Oh, okay.
Well, we don't know if he was homeless or doing community service. We hope it's the latter. I don't know. But anyway.
They're both not great, but
neither is great, but one's probably a little better. Who's to say? But so he listens to emo music. He has piercings. I'm like, this guy's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I start skipping school. I start smoking weed. I become more emo. And because of that, I miss so much school. I go to all these parties, get MIPs. I'm in so much trouble. I get kicked out of my high school and I have to go to this alternative school. And
the alternative.
Yeah, shit. Wait a minute. Oh my God. It's all
Full
invisible
circle.
string theory. I'm like, what is this? So at this school, you have to go through a metal detector to get in. It's all just pregnant girls, not even women. They're just young as fuck, drug dealers, gang members, and me.
So how long was the school?
So I had to graduate there. I couldn't go back to my original high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So this happened beginning of senior year is when I got kicked out. So I had to finish my senior year at Richard Milburn Academy, which sounds nice. It was not.
It does sound really upscale.
It was absolutely the fuck not. It was.
Okay. So what do you think if America had laws like Europe and some other places where they allow children to experiment, have a drink when they're 12, do you think we would wild out as much as we do here in America? Because we're told no.
Honestly, maybe not, just because in my experience, kids who had stricter parents, I feel like they always act out because you want to do what you can't, right?
For me, anytime I'm told you can't do that, I do it. I want to do it at least. I'll think about it.
Yeah, it's my fatal flaw as well in the past. In other countries, though, there's like certain drugs that are legal, like hard drugs and stuff.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, where is it? Or it's like different like states, even in the US. Am I tripping? I feel like it's like,
Portland, Oregon.
oh, okay. I'm like, Oregon of all places.
Portland and Seattle.
Isn't it? What is it, like meth or something?
Everything. It's decriminalized.
Wait, everything?
Everything. You can do coke, meth, heroin. You can shoot up. You can shoot up on the side of the street, and a cop can't arrest you.
Okay. I mean, I might see the thought process behind it, maybe, but like, is it legal to buy it or just to do it?
I don't think so.
What the fuck? So like, you know what I mean? Is that like a catch-22?
Because then you're funding, you're keeping like cartels and stuff alive. So there's no way they would legalize it. It's just if you use it and a cop sees you and you're tweaking on the side of the road, he can't arrest you. Like if you vandalize something, yes. But if you're just high on your drug.
Can you... Okay, so like, do they have like dispensaries? Is there like a meth dispensary where you can just go and be like, hey, I'll take like a gram of meth, please? You know what I mean?
I hope
so they're not
not
funding the...
Actually, I think there is something like that. Yeah. Okay, somewhere. Okay, I don't know if this is in the States, but there's a place where you can go safely do your drug of choice because for certain drugs, if you withdraw, you can die off of them.
Oh, they like wean you off of it.
They wean you. So they'll actually give you small doses of it and then hopefully get you to a methadone clinic after, right?
Yeah.
So that's something people do too. I've heard of that.
I could see that, yeah. But I'm just thinking like the legalization and not wanting to fund like organized crime and stuff like that. I wonder if at any point like local government will allow dispensaries to sell just like cocaine.
God, think about it. I don't know, dude.
The money they would make, Jesus Christ.
Okay, that's a great point. You bring a lot of money in, but also if they could safely make cocaine that doesn't have fentanyl, and save some lives, maybe.
Living would be cool.
Cocaine's a stupid freaking drug. Don't do cocaine.
Yeah, don't do that, guys.
Like, I'm not advocating for it. I'm saying if they wanted to wrangle it and like take some of the drugs off the streets that are killing people, I guess you have to try it to see.
Because it's so prevalent now. And I've heard like, apparently they're handing out, little testing strips at bars and stuff like that just because it's so bad.
Good. I mean, they should do that stuff.
I wonder why. Like, it's starting to just be worse than it was.
Yeah, I don't know why fentanyl is being added at such a crazy rate. I guess just it's cheap or something. I don't know.
I guess, but isn't there like maybe like baking powder, something that's white that's cheaper that doesn't kill people? Just a thought. Drug dealers, if you're out there, maybe something else. Let's think about it. Maybe flour.
Gluten-free flour?
Yeah, that could be nice.
So it's easier on the celiac stomach?
Sugar even. Who's to say?
Yeah.
What is a lie that you've told that you've never confessed to anyone before?
I just used to lie a lot to people when I was like I'm in recovery for alcohol.
Yeah.
And when I was in my alcoholism, I was a liar because a lot of the time I was so hungover from like a night out or a bender, I would break plans with people.
Right.
And my lie was like, oh, I'm in the studio. Oh, I'm really like I'm going to be at the studio all day. It's like, no, I was hungover in my bed. So I broke a lot of people's trust because I would commit to things and then I wouldn't. So like, basically if you knew me in like 2020, 2021, I was, probably
fucking off a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think a reason you finally decided to release your music now that you've been holding on to for all that time is because you have more mental clarity from being sober?
100%.
Nice.
100%. Yeah, it's like
probably less anxiety too.
Yeah, it's when I was a drinker, like I overthought about everything. I was like, hey, my music's not good. It's not like when the idols I looked up to in the music scene. I was like, it's not as good. It's like now that I'm sober and have a clear head, I'm like, dude, someone will connect with it, even if it's two people. So put it out. Like, sobriety's brought mental clarity on every aspect of my life.
Do you feel like you're more creative now too? Like maybe it like opened a different part of your brain that wasn't active prior when you were drinking?
I think it's not the creativity is different. It's that my time allotment is different. So I put more time into creating music now than I did because when I was a drinker, it was going out. That was number one. I loved day drinking, brunches, mimosas. I loved going to every bar in LA. Like I had a blast doing it, but like how much of that time could have been spent working on a record?
For sure.
Or getting myself a record deal, And I don't dwell on it now. I don't regret anything in the past. It's like, it is what it is, but it's more of a time allotment thing that I've gained from being sober.
Is that your plan ultimately, is to get a record deal with the project? Or?
It's funny. Actually, it's a good segue into like the music business because you don't need one. You don't need a record deal. record labels can help you because they have reach and they have connections.
Yeah.
And their marketing's awesome and they'll put $100,000 behind you. But like all it takes is one video on TikTok for you to pop off and you have your entire brand built yourself. You can keep all the money for yourself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of record deals where the label will collect 80% of all your income.
That's insane.
That's like a standard 360 record deal where like we get merch, we get touring, we get back end royalties, and people sign that because they get an advancement, right? They dangle the carrot.
Sure. I'm sure they're good at that too.
Oh, hey, a starving artist that's never seen money before, we're going to offer you $200,000.
Yeah.
You're signing.
For sure.
That money can change your life. But what you're signing away is 80% of your revenue. And so like, I've just learned like as an independent artist, for me in future hands, let me at least give myself 2 years of grinding. But what can happen in 2 years? A lot.
Yeah, a ton.
And then if a record label partnership comes in and it feels right, yeah, of course I'll sign a record deal. But like right now, I just want to try it on my own.
Is that what happened to Taylor Swift and why she had to come out with like Taylor's version of songs? Or
yeah, hers was they owned her masters. So the actual master recording, they own that. And when you own the masters, you have all the control.
Really?
Yeah. And so Taylor, I think she had to like pay them back, like she owed them a certain amount or whatever. And then she re-recorded them, which made a new master.
Right.
And then she released those masters and told her fans,
Interesting.
hey, only stream these. Right.
I mean, that's brilliant. That's a lot of work, but that's crazy. Like how you put the whole like creative process, your time, your effort into something, and then someone else just owns it completely.
Yeah. It's like, here's the thing is record labels need artists. Artists don't need record labels.
For sure.
So a record label without any artists is not a record label.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening, but an artist without a record deal is still an artist. They still can make music, put it out through DistroKid and create content on TikTok.
Do you think record labels are becoming kind of like obsolete now?
Yeah.
And like outdated a little bit? Because I feel like back in the day, you didn't have like a TikTok or an Instagram where you could just put music out on your own. It was a lot more difficult and you had to use them.
I 100% think they're obsolete. I think you can be an independent artist and thrive.
Flagrant, I think, is the podcast. I love it. But I think
that?
Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, love him. But he had Russ on there.
Yes.
Have you seen it? And he was talking about that, about like the labels and how people buy streams and how like a lot of the people
stream farming.
Pop up out of nowhere and they're all of a sudden like number one, like where'd they come from? People are just kind of like buying streams and like placing them strategically.
Think about Four Bats. You know the guy Four Bats?
Mm-mm.
If I played you the song, you would absolutely know it. Four Bats is a R&B producer. Drake just signed him to OVO.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's too suspicious. He put out 4 songs and in like weeks they got 18 million streams, 20 million streams, and he's got like 1 million listeners on Spotify. It's like, it's just too eerie. Like I know that growth can happen rapidly in this day and age, but it was like everyone's like, dude, he's a plant.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know, like his music's great, but like people do that. Record labels will buy streams so that their artist looks like they're incredibly popular. It's a real thing.
What's the purpose of a plant? Like I've heard the term, but what's like the end goal of doing that?
Whoever the backers are for that plant, let's say it's a record label.
Yeah.
Sometimes just hedge fund dudes with hella money invest in an artist, and their way of getting them in front of everyone's eyeballs is planting. It's like
so it's like insider trading for like artists, kind of in a way.
Like,
oh, that is so interesting.
Like I'm gonna put $300,000 behind this R&B guy, and let me get him in front of eyeballs by buying his streams, buying his way onto playlists, Spotify playlists, editorials. Let me stream farm him, which essentially is having people over in third world countries stream the song all day. They just keep hitting play on. You tell them, this is my artist I'm investing in. I want you to play their song 100 times a day for the next month. I'm going to pay you $5,000.
Damn, which is like life-changing for them.
For them, it's life-changing money, and you're getting all these streams, but it's like one person listened to it. It's not really exposed.
I'm like, do I hire VAs in the Philippines to stream my podcast? Just kidding, just me plotting. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, do I simply plant myself? What are your thoughts on the Illuminati in the music industry? I feel like I brought it up the other day, but I feel like you're a good person to ask about that, seeing as you are, in fact, in the music industry. Like, do you think that's a thing?
What is the rumor with the Illuminati in the music industry?
I think there's a bunch of different ones, but I don't know. People are saying Diddy, for example, and what's going on with him is like a humiliation ritual to grow within the Illuminati. Like I've heard Beyonce, Taylor Swift, I've heard her concerts are like ritualistic, Travis Scott, you know.
Oh, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And just how
And my question, I don't know. My answer is I don't know. But like, my question is, what would that do to benefit Beyonce? Like, let's say has hidden demonic messages in her thing. What is it? What is the goal? Like, to get people to be under mind control and do demonic things?
Like the growth, like her personal growth. I think what they're saying is like it's like a trade-off, I guess. She gains like the fame and stuff just for being a part of this, but then she also has to do stuff for them.
I don't know. Like, I was just having this conversation with a group of friends over like the Epsteins of the world, Pizzagate, like any high profile person that has some messed up trafficking ring behind them. Like, I was thinking about it and I'm like, I completely believe it, because in my study of addiction, you learn that you can tap out your dopamine really quickly with drugs and alcohol. And dopamine obviously it's the motivation molecule. It's what gets you motivated. It's what keeps you happy. So people that are in the limelight and are billionaires, they've tapped all their dopamine.
Yeah.
Like, you've had the nicest steak dinners. You've flown on the private jet.
Yeah.
You've been to Bali and everywhere. So like, where else do you go from there? Let me do a fucked up trafficking ring. Let me have an island.
I feel like there's probably steps to take prior, but yeah, I guess that's like.
Well, I jumped right to it.
Well, but I mean, not for them. I guess there weren't steps to take prior.
But you know what I mean?
But yeah.
Like, what can I do that excites me now that I have everything in the world?
For sure.
So I'm going to go do these fucked up things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like a lot of the billionaires of the world, whatever they do, like eccentric shit. So these people where they have limitless funds, who's to say what they do not in the public eye? Like, there's no way to know. Like, we'll never know.
And it's a power thing.
Lastly, I heard the 27 Club too is also part of the Illuminati. And it's people who didn't want to proceed. I know, mind blown. I heard it's people who don't want to proceed with like the ritualistic stuff they want them to do. So that's why it's like, yeah. And apparently 27, so they say in the conspiracy, is like a benchmark of, okay, you have to like do this to get to the next level, and they don't.
Oh, these are all theories. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, it's all theories. Like, I don't know this to be a fact. I'm not in the Illuminati, probably.
This goes back to the conspiracy theory question. Like, I think about conspiracy theories as like, you can't just knock them down immediately. Someone's on to something. For sure. Like, one human had the balls to stand up and say, like, think outside of the norm and be like, I think something's wrong here.
Flat Earth. For someone who like, and I'm not going to lie, I've seen like a TikTok or two, like a video or two, and I'm like, damn, is it in fact flat? It's probably not, but I don't know. People are pretty convincing with their videos. Like, people really put some effort, like they put some production into it to where I was like, I might be wrong about everything I've ever known. Who knows? What is a secret talent that you have that no one would expect?
I can hold my breath for a really long time.
Damn. How'd you figure that out?
I like became obsessed with David Blaine.
Loved it. Do you remember like the parodies they did of him?
Dude, on YouTube, some of the first videos on YouTube.
Oh my fucking God, David
And he's
Blaine.
just looking at the...
Yeah. I'll put a little clip in. Oh my God.
Put a clip of that.
Just original YouTube.
All right, these guys.
Hey. No, David Blaine, no.
What'd you buy?
I bought a green sweater, if you want to know.
You sure you didn't buy a teddy bear?
Yes, I'm sure I did. Yeah. Teddy bear, what the F? How did you...
We could have a whole conversation on original YouTube videos. Let's get into that later.
Let's go. Actually, next, I'm like, I would love nothing more.
Jot that down. So David Blaine attempted the world record of breath holding live on Oprah.
Oh, that sounds really familiar. Yeah.
He got in a this giant like goldfish bowl essentially, and he held his breath for 17 minutes. But
God damn,
he did it with pure O2, so you can ingest pure oxygen, and it's I mean, it's not cheating, but it's like you can hold your breath for way longer when you do it. So when I saw that, I was like, yo, I can hold my breath for a long time. David Blaine's doing it. Like, so I like trained, like I literally did like Wim Hof back when Wim Hof wasn't even a thing.
Original YouTube videos. I do want to get back to that. What a time, honestly, just simpler times.
Okay. What are your ones that come to mind?
Old Greg, classic. Have you seen that?
Old Greg.
Yeah. He's like, okay, hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'll put like a photo up. It's terrifying. But he was like a man, but also like a swamp like animal.
You seen the muffins video?
Oh, I forgot about it till right now, but yeah.
He just puts up different types of muffins, and then he gets more and more ridiculous. Like, one's on fire.
Oh, the last one's like blood or something. Yeah.
Blood.
Yeah,
and then he's like, he just goes into a bunch of really funny ones. That whoever that dude is had OG YouTube videos.
Yeah. Was it Smosh or do you remember them?
I remember Smosh, but it wasn't Smosh. His name. He also did one called Shoes.
Oh,
Shoes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Shoes.
Kelly. Any awkward or crazy dating stories that you're willing to share?
Oh my God, yes. Okay. you'll like this too, because so I matched with a girl on this dating app, and the plan was come to my house, let's have a beer, and then like we'll go out to a bar.
Yeah.
So she comes over and we're sitting there, and like right off the bat, she's just, I think her way of flirting was being like kind of a bitch. Like she was making fun of things in my house. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, yeah, the couch, we got it on sale, so it's not really that nice. Whatever she was saying, she was just talking shit, right? And like, that's not my language. I'm not really a shit talker.
Especially if you don't know someone, like, yeah.
Yeah, like she was trying to be funny. So I was already kind of like, all right, but I can get past it, right?
Yeah.
Then it comes to find out she used to date one of the members of Escape the Fate.
Oh.
And I had just gone on tour with Escape the Fate like maybe 2 years prior. And I like all those guys.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, you're in Papa Roach. I used to date blah, blah, blah and Escape the Fate. And then she started talking shit about him. And I was like, all right, well,
Damn.
I was like, I like him. He's always been nice to me. So
yeah.
like, she goes, yeah, but he's this, and this. I was like, hey, I don't really want to hear you badmouth like my friend. So now we're in this weird energy.
Yeah, that's so awkward.
And the juju was so bad, I made her leave the house.
And then staged it. I don't blame you. Like, I don't understand like the tactic. Like, I wonder if that's ever worked for her.
Probably. But it was one thing after another. She maybe stayed for 45 minutes, literally.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think you need to go.
You should. That's like a lot of negativity. Do guys in the industry that know each other typically talk about that kind of thing? Like, say you meet a girl and you really like her. Do you check with other friends in the industry to be like, hey, have you ever dated this girl?
I mean, if I've never had that experience, but yeah, if I started dating somebody and a buddy's like, hey man, I used to date her, I'm the type of guy that is so down to talk about it, or be like, hey, depending on how good of a friend he is, like, is this going to affect our relationship?
Yeah,
like,
I guess that matters.
I'll take a step back from this, but if it's a guy I've kind of toured with, and yeah, I probably wouldn't really care.
I know like the rap genre industry, whatever, there's certain girls that are just known for just trying to date like rappers,
Sure.
right? Does that exist? And I'm sure it does in like y'all's genre. And is there any, don't like name them obviously, but are there people you can think of like off the top of your head where you've heard just, hey, stay away from them if they try to hit you up?
God, I'm sure there is, but I can't think of any. No, I can't think of anybody. But there's definitely women that they're dead set on getting a rock guy because that's their culture and that's what they're into, and it's a status thing. And I haven't heard of anyone that like, hey man, watch out for this one.
Yeah,
nothing like that.
There was a story you told me on the first podcast, and it was like you were dating a girl, and she wanted you to like sing to her.
What is this? A sweet song? You can see me and. Falling in Reverse song was on my mind, and it was about tears freeze when you cry, my worst enemy's gonna come after you, like dark lyrics. Because I was singing it like really into it, and I was like, I don't know. And she's like, Jesus, what are you singing to me? Your tears freeze when you cry. I'm like, oh, it's my favorite song right now. Like, what's wrong with that? So that was a bad move.
She didn't listen to the same kind of music at all?
Nope.
Damn. Is that kind of like a prerequisite when dating someone? Like with you and your girlfriend, was that something that mattered, having the same taste in music? No?
And actually, like, I love my girlfriend's taste in music. Yeah. She puts on music that is stuff I would never normally listen to. And me and like some of the guys in my touring party have this going thing where we like dating women that aren't in the music scene.
Yeah.
Because it's just... there's like an innocence about them.
Right.
Funny, like my girl comes out on tour and she loves seeing me, but she doesn't like the tour bus. She doesn't like the bunk. She's like, she gets in, she gets out. Like, I just like that she has her own passions and it's different than mine.
So in a way, there kind of is like, at least with y'all, like prerequisite of not really being a fan.
Sure, maybe.
Is that common, would you say, not wanting to date like a fan?
No, I think a lot of guys would love if their girl was into rock music and their genre. But like,
what about their band though? Like in particular, like what if they came to find out, oh, this girl's like a super fan of like Papa Roach? Do you think that would be weird?
That might be a problem.
Could be a little weird.
Because what's the motive? Do you really love the guy you're dating in that band, or are you just trying to be with him for a status thing? That could go really south later if you get married. Like, I wouldn't fuck with a super fan.
Do you think that's kind of hard for people to tell though, with social media and stuff, and people, knowing if someone really likes them or not?
Yeah, I do. I do think it's tough, but you would know. You would know in person with the vibes if they're coming after something or if they really like you for you or not.
There's some girls who are like trained professionals though. Like they're really, who's to say? I don't know. I feel like I would be scared of that if it were me. I'm going to name events that have transpired within just music in general with like bands, fans, whatever. And you'll tell me if it really happened or if it's made up. Number 1, Keith Moon from The Who drove his car into a pool. The drummer for The Who was known for his destructive antics. One of the most famous stories is when he drove a Rolls Royce into a hotel swimming pool on his 21st birthday in Flint, Michigan.
Whoa.
Not Flint.
Whoa.
Good thing it wasn't the water.
The only reason I'm going to say it's true is because I've heard that he was absolutely out of his mind all the time.
Really?
Yeah. He was like a raging alcoholic, did a lot of antics. What did he do? He passed out on his drum set from doing drugs. Like he did some drug and passed out face forward on his drum set. He was a wild dude. So I'm going to say, dude, a Rolls Royce though?
But I mean, if you're in The Who, like, you know, you can probably afford. But
my gut is saying it's true.
It is. It is true. Next, Foo Fighters' Dave Grohl breaks leg on stage. During a concert in Sweden, he fell off the stage and broke his leg. Despite the injury, he finished the concert with his leg in a cast and later performed the rest of the tour sitting on a custom-built throne of guitars. That's fucking iconic.
That's hard as fuck.
If it's true, that's iconic.
Oh, it's true.
Oh,
It is true.
Oh, you're familiar with the guitar throne. Okay.
Dude, he falls pretty far too off the stage. Dude, this is how gangster he is. He breaks his leg. And then there's a video of this. He has his crew bring a microphone down to the ground where he fell with the broken leg.
No.
And they're like setting his leg bone. And he's like, guys, I just fell and broke my leg. I promise you we will be back. I need to go get my leg looked at.
Damn.
I will come back. And he comes back and plays his set.
After how long?
I think he went away for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and they came back and then he played the set.
Jared Leto's haircut auction. A fan paid $2,000 for a lock of Jared Leto's hair, who apparently is in a cult now. Have you heard that?
Maybe I saw a headline or something.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day and I mentioned how I thought like Jared Leto was like cute back in the day in his like 30 Seconds to Mars era. And they told me he's like a cult leader now.
I believe it. He seems like a cult leader.
Well, I'm like, it's not end up in toxic relationships. I'm like,
cult?
no, he doesn't. Just kidding. He's not like that.
What type of cult though, right? Like there could be an okay cult. It doesn't have to be a bad cult.
So I looked into this when they told me and they were like, Google it. I was like, fine. I guess actually like Smosh of all people did like a whole series on this, like a comedy thing, but they're saying like his super fans that go to his concerts, I guess if you pay a certain amount, he takes you on this retreat or something and you wear just all white, kind of culty vibes. No one really knows what happens, but it's kind of giving like weird cult vibes. Yeah.
Has anyone spoke out that has gone to it?
No, I guess because they're like super fans, but like also you would think a journalist or something would do it. Maybe you have to sign an NDA.
Probably. Oh, the hair.
Yeah, they paid $2,000 for a lock of hair and then that's it.
I believe it.
It's true also. Like that is also true. We'll see.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
They might be.
Don't lead on.
Slipknot's Corey Taylor punches a fan. At a Slipknot concert, a fan threw something at lead singer Corey Taylor. Taylor responded by jumping into the crowd and punching him, causing a brief commotion before security intervened. The incident further cemented Slipknot's intense and unpredictable live show reputation.
I would say true.
Go out on a limb and say it's true also. It is. What do you know? I didn't put any false ones. I didn't have time, but it's okay.
You know, we
learned a lot.
An even more badass one is Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day.
What do you do?
I don't know what this dude in the crowd was doing, but he was pissing off Billy Joe. And so he called him, he's like, listen here, you mohawked motherfucker.
Oh,
if you do that again, I'm going to come into the pit.
Damn.
And the guy flips him off and he takes his guitar off, runs to the back of the stage to get a running leap and leaps 4 rows into the thing and double kicks this guy in the face.
Wait, out of thin air, he just like kicks him?
Yep.
Or like...
He knew exactly how, this is what's crazy.
The trajectory.
The trajectory of the jump and like how fast to go. And he flies up and face kicks the dude.
That's fucking insane.
And I'm like, it's so, and this is in like 93. So it looks still like it's old footage, like a camcorder.
Like you can like barely tell it's him.
Yeah, it's freaking tight.
Damn, I want them to like remaster that so I can watch it in its full effect. I think it's like ballsy these days with how people get so crazy to have like fans that close to you though, just in general. Cause I know like Knocked Loose has been doing smaller venues. Do you like them or not?
I love
really?
Knocked Loose.
Okay. Anyway, recently they've been doing a lot of shows where like fans can go on stage and stuff and it's just really small venues and they're like hitting the drum set and stuff and it's just crazy. But
yeah, Jacoby loves that stuff, dude.
You wouldn't be nervous? Like for something to happen?
No, I don't think so. But we played like a brewery recently. And it was fun as fuck.
Has there been like a terrible venue that you played?
I think it was El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
Like hood ass actual. I mean, yeah, I know this. I was gonna say, don't quote me. It was like cartel members ran the shit.
I mean, it's
like probably the nicest cartel members I've ever met. By the way, they were all super nice sweet guys, and they were there to work the venue. But you just heard like, hey, they're a part of the shit. So just be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
But like we played the show and the PA kept going out, the power kept blowing. There was glass on the ground where people were standing to watch the show, broken glass. In the area where our buses park was nails on the ground, which is
What
a
the
huge, like, you can't do that.
Like,
It's going to pop the tire.
someone do that on purpose? Or like how nails just like...
Everything was rusty. It was hot. It was just a shitty day. And we weren't happy with that show at all.
Well, moving forward for your next tour, is there anyone you'd want to tour with? Like another band, ideally, that you think would be the best fit for 2025?
Beartooth, Architects,
Okay. You'd see that too.
Bring Me the Horizon.
They're popping off. Like they had like a big resurgence. Not that they ever died down, but I feel like people are obsessed with them now. Like a whole new generation.
Band, dude.
Yeah.
I love that band. I would love to tour with them. Those three for sure. And then I would do Spirit Box again.
Yeah.
We did Falling in Reverse last year. Fire.
Yeah. Did you hear about their drummer that got burned on stage or whatever? That's nuts.
Luke, yeah.
And he just kept going. Like that's metal.
That shit's, dude, that shit's hot. We did Pyro last year and it was hot. And so for the wind to sweep that into him was probably excruciating.
Yeah, no, that sounds horrifying. And the fact that he kept going is like the most insane thing because you can just see it happening in the video too.
A little G. One of the things you asked me earlier was the best advice I got. And I was thinking about it. And the best advice I got from someone was to talk to yourself like you would to your best friend.
Oh.
Because I feel like in today's world, we're all so hard on ourselves. I feel like everyone, no matter if you're a content creator or running a business or whatever it is, you're like, you have this pressure on yourself to get things done. And when you don't meet the mark, you beat yourself up. And someone said, talk to yourself like you would to your best friend. Like, how would you talk to your brother Tobin? I was like, dude, I would encourage the hell out of him. So my message is like, give yourself some grace, whatever you're doing, and just like love yourself.
I know we kind of went over this last time and we didn't really touch on it much this time with addiction and everything like that. But I think the advice you gave last time about that was great as well. So maybe just anything you have to say about that to anyone who might be struggling right now.
Yeah. I mean, anyone that's struggling, like the main message is that you're not alone. And we've all been there, right? Like we all struggle with something. Like there's an addiction out there for every person. And you just need to talk to somebody. You need to go to a meeting because there's people there waiting that can help. And just hearing another addict's story, dude, it can change your day. Like it can, all you gotta do is go up to that person after the meeting and say, hey, I want what you have. Can you give me your number and can you help me? Go to meetings. You'll dig yourself out of the hole.
I'm sure it can feel isolating too, you know, 100%. If not. So.
I get it. I hid my addiction for years and most people do, but like, just do it covertly. You don't got to go like tell the internet, but go to an AA meeting and there are 20 people sitting there that would help you and will call you and text you every single day until you get better.
Well, thank you so much for coming on again. And we'll see you next time for the third time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye, guys.